Hello, my name is Havalynn Russell, and I am going to talk to you about my fear diagram. For many, many years, I used to live in this place of fear. Fear totally owned me. It owned every aspect of my life and all that I did. I used to be strung out on drugs, and I went through the whole gamut of them. And although I wanted very much to be high in life and happy, the thought of it was really scary. And so what happened was, because I was living in fear and it owned me, I repelled this negative energy, and it kept happiness and opportunities and things like that from coming to me. Anger was the fulcrum, and happiness, courage always stayed down here. Very seldom would I get so angry that courage would actually come up to the top, but for the most part, it was fear that lived up here. Courage was always at the bottom. And what would happen is, when these opportunities would come and go and come and go, and because of fear I never owned them, I would be really angry. And then anger would be at the top. So sometimes anger and fear would toggle back and forth. And then that anger about not rising to the occasion would bring on depression and sadness and all that other stuff. It wasn't until eventually that the fear of being stuck in my comfort zone was scarier than what might be outside of it. You know, fear owned me because, at least in this comfort zone of fear, I knew what to expect. It sucked. It really, really sucked. But at least I knew what to expect. Outside of my comfort zone, I had no idea what was out there. And then all of a sudden, it just became more scary. The thought of being stuck in my comfort zone and drug addiction was scarier than what was out there. And that's when some movement began to occur. And I was finally able to overcome my drug addiction. And what happened was, I ended up in this place of happiness. Happy is at the top. Courage is here. Fear and anger live down here. And because I am so extremely, ecstatically happy, I exude it, I beam it, I live it. It's just woo! And it just beams, 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 beams out to me. It beams to me. I'm pulling more opportunities, more things for gratitude, more loving relationships and people and happiness to me. It just attracts to me, and it's what I look for, it's what I expect in life, it's what I see, it's what I feel I am. And it took this courage to be happy. And what happens is, this isn't just a plateau for me. There should be some arrows that kind of go out further, because it just gets better and better and better. And every so often, fear will come up here, propel courage, and beam me right back to happiness. So this is the place that I live. And so the question that I'd like to start with is, what happens when not facing your fear is not an option anymore? You know, what happens when you come face to face with what feels like your scariest moment in life, and not moving forward is not an option? And my answer is, you look at that moment and you prepare and expect to know and own it to be your bravest moment in life. And so this is me owning my bravest moment in life. For many years, I've had a fear of people finding out that I have a condition called trichotillomania, and it was something that I've had most of my life, and it's a hair-pulling disorder. I would do it when I was nervous or sad or depressed or in pain, or eventually I did it when I was happy too and excited, and it was my way of just coping with emotions. And although it's not something I do anymore, because I had done it for so long, my hair won't grow back. And I would pull my hair, I would pull my eyelashes, and the damage has just been such that it won't grow back. And I've had this fear in my life that has totally owned me, of people finding out that I'm bald on the top of my head, and that it was something that I did to myself. And so the way fear has owned me is, I wouldn't go swimming. I wouldn't ride in the summertime with the top down because I was worried about my hat flying off. Um, my girls didn't have slumber parties because I was worried about my hat coming off in the middle of the night or things like that. And so it just owned me in a lot of different ways that has been just prevalent and very subtle. And what happened was about a month ago, I was in Boston, and I was on stage. I was in Boston, and I was around just some of my favorite people in the world. Some of my favorite people in the world. Love them. I know they love me, and I'm dancing, and I'm having a great time, and I'm moving my head around, and my hat fell off. And I'm sitting there, and I'm like, oh my God. Oh my God. And I quickly picked it up, and I put it on my head, and I'm sitting there, and I just wanted to die, and I just wanted to melt into the ground, and I just wanted to run, and fear just owned me. It totally owned and robbed that joy that I felt in that moment. And what happened was, while I'm sitting there in fear, I quickly was like, you know what? Screw it. I choose to be happy, and I just shot right back up to happy and got back to dancing and having a good time. But what happened was, when I came back, I didn't even realize how much that was on my mind, how much that fear was there. I've overcome a lot of different fearful things this past year, and it's been tremendous. I'm getting ready to do a speaking engagement in Key West, and I'm really excited about it, but instead of being able to feel the excitement about what I was getting ready to do, this is how fear owned me without me even recognizing. I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm going to be sharing a room with somebody. What if my bandana comes off in the middle of the night? What if, I'm out there swimming in the water and the waves whip it off? And, when I get out of the shower, what's that rooming arrangement look like? Will I have the privacy to do my hair? And what if? It just owned me. And I wasn't even able to think about what I wanted to speak about, what I wanted to share. And I put out there and just felt and heard and was guided to own this. And this is a fear that no longer serves me. I'm grateful for it, and it's allowed me to develop strength so I could get to this point. But I'm no longer allowing this shame to own me. I'm no longer allowing this fear to own me. I let it go, and I release it so that I can be even happier in life and love myself even that much more. And knowing that we are reflections of each other, I want to see that much more beauty in the people who cross my paths in life. And it's incredible. This is so liberating, and I've never felt better. And I know that as incredible as this past year has been, it's just going to get better, and I can't wait to see what the better is. Because I have let go of this fear and allowed happiness to come to me, and liberation and everything else that comes with it, I've had a lot of firsts. And after seeing my awesome and amazing therapist yesterday, when I was getting ready to walk out of her office, and I shared, myself with her. I got ready to put my hat back on, and I said, you know what? I'm not putting my hat on. And I left her office, and for the first time, I felt the wind on my head. And it just felt like it was it just held my head and was going, just kissing me all over. I hadn't felt the wind on my head, ever. And I went to Barnes & Noble, and I sat there, and it was really, really scary. And, as people looked at me, and I just looked at them and smiled, and they smiled back. And then I continued on throughout my day without my hat. And today, my daughter and I went to the mall. That was huge. That was incredible. And I went for the first time to a beauty shop. And I had my hair layered, so now I can get my flip on, and walk around like, if you're looking at me weird, it's because you didn't get the memo that this is the new hairstyle. And I'm sitting there in tears telling the beautician my story, and because she's seen me a lot of times, but it's always been with my hat on. And she's in tears, and my daughter's in tears, and it was incredible. I told her I'd give her a shout out to the beauty shop when I'm on Oprah, but the shout out now is, woo, TNR Beauty Shop rocks. And I just want to say thank you to my friends, my amazing friends, my coworkers, my mom, my dad, my brother, my daughters, my incredible
Maylana.
hippie. Oh, yes, Maylana. And Mike Dooley for really putting me on this path of visualizing what my life could be. He's a teacher in The Secret, amazing New York Times bestselling author, has me in this community of amazing ippiness. And yes, so the question is, what do you do when not facing your fear is no longer not an option? How do you face that scariest moment, what feels like the scariest moment in your life when you are face to face with it? And the answer is you get ready to know and own it to be your bravest moment ever. Thank you all for joining me in my bravest moment ever, and welcome to another moment of life. I love me and I love you.
This video was taken by
Maylana.